The Member of Parliament for the Pandai constituency is fighting to retain his seat after the Tamale High Court ordered a rerun of the parliamentary elections in response to an election petition. We have more on this for you because the coming days obviously spells out what to look out for, but the Special Prosecutor, Kessie Jabeng, is also under fire over what critics describe as inaction. And he now faces a public protest scheduled for tomorrow. We'll hear from the convener and more. Stay with us. Also, a public forum organized by Media General earlier today has sparked discussions on whether a specific law on lifestyle audit is necessary in the fight against corruption, especially in the public sector. It's a conversation that we have for you tonight. And for those of you who missed out earlier today, as always, you can share your thoughts with us. Your views, comments, and opinions are welcome. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. I am Alfred Okansi. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
Lawyers for the embattled Pandai Member of Parliament, Matthew Yindam, have filed a motion for a stay of execution to contest the Tamale High Court's order for a rerun of the parliamentary election. On Monday, the court directed a new election to be held in the Pandai constituency within 30 days. Speaking to journalists, Sylvester Isang, counsel for the NP, confirmed that he has filed a motion to appeal the ruling.
We respect the decision of the court, but we strongly disagree with the judgment, and we have already shown our aggrievement by filing a competent notice of appeal, and we've added a motion for stay of execution.
The government is engaging with ECOWAS and the World Food Programme as part of broader efforts to address the surplus of grains and cereals on the market. Speaking at the Government Accountability Series, Agriculture Minister Eric Opoku announced that he will meet with ECOWAS officials on Tuesday to determine the next steps.
ECOWAS will be meeting me tomorrow to see what plans they have to also be part of the process. We are also speaking to our colleague ministers in West Africa and then Africa. Some of them have shortages and they want to see what they can do to buy to support their storage of cereals in those areas. But this is the first time we have experienced such, situations.
President Mahama has emphasized the urgent need to decentralize the operations of the Controller and Accountant General's Department. Addressing the annual conference of the African Association of Accountants General in Accra, he noted that decentralization is essential for improving efficiency and minimizing opportunities for financial mismanagement.
We have struggled with this for some years, and I think that the time has come when we take bold action about decentralizing the Accountant General's departments. The Accountant General in Ghana manages the payroll of a nurse in my hometown in Bole. If she reports to work, she doesn't report to work. If she deserts her position, her salary continues to go into her account, because by the time somebody writes a letter to the region sends it to the ministry sends it to the Accountant General. Some 3, 4, 5, 6 months have passed.
Speakers at the Media General Dialogue Series on lifestyle audit have sparked renewed pressure on state institutions to demand transparency and hold public officers accountable for their wealth. Panelists also called for fresh laws and rallied government to enforce existing ones.
We pretend that we want to fight corruption. We are really not fighting corruption. before we create a new law, we have existing institutions who are just not doing the right thing. An institution is only as strong as the people who are leading it. When the person leading the institution decides to enforce its law, the institution itself over a period becomes powerful.
Teaching and learning in colleges of education nationwide has come to an abrupt halt as the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana (CTAG) began a nationwide strike on Monday, November 24. The action stems from the association's concern over the government's repeated failure to fully implement a binding arbitral award along with other outstanding arrears. Wahab Zulika serves as the association's local chairman.
2019, that's during the COVID era, we taught for almost throughout the year, which the government promised to compensate that with 1 month salary. Till date, none has happened. But with Accra College, we had a part payment. But almost about 36 of our colleges have not received anything. 2022-2023 research allowance top up. Up till now, the government has also not fulfilled that. We're told that with this migration, nobody will be shortchanged. It's an indefinite strike that we are embarking on until everything is paid. There's no way we'll go to class.
There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7. Also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. We're also on 3 News on YouTube. There's many ways you can connect with us. As always, proudly brought to you by Flamingo Paint, Simply Superior, Sasson Sesa Spray and Call, Kumtumtum Preko. Coming up next on Ghana Tonight. The Member of Parliament for the Kwandai constituency is fighting literally to retain his seat after the Tamale High Court ordered a rerun of the parliamentary election in response to an election petition. Now, we've got details for you on this particular issue and how things played out earlier today. It's a very, very interesting development with the reactions, obviously, from both sides of this particular issue and from both parties in this case. But the lawyers for the embattled Pandai constituency Member of Parliament, Matthew Nyandam, have filed a motion for a stay of execution to challenge the Tamale High Court's decision ordering a rerun of the parliamentary elections. On Monday, the court ruled that a fresh election be conducted in the Kwandai constituency within 30 days. Now, here's a lawyer for the Member of Parliament, that's Matthew Nyandam, earlier today after the court hearing and this ruling. He's been reacting to it. Take a look.
The decision, but we strongly disagree with the judgment, and we have already shown our aggrievement by filing a competent notice of appeal, and we've added a motion for stay of execution.
Well, the Member of Parliament himself is now having to fight for his status as Member of Parliament, essentially. He's been speaking to the media earlier today.
Let me put on record that for a run, you see, if genuinely we have to run, we won't have a problem. But if you decide to pave your way through, because you think that you are in government and you can use state powers to be able to coerce the people to vote for you, that's where we have a difficulty. In any case, he came to court with 41 polling stations. And these 41 polling stations are areas that I won with huge margins.
Well, Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the NDC, Rashid Tanko Computer, also did speak after this court ruling earlier today, affirming the fact that the NDC, in his view, had always believed that this particular election, the parliamentary elections in the Kwandai constituency, the coalition process did not follow the due process of the law. Take a look.
All along, the NDC has been saying that there are several crooked electoral officers who are bent on stealing people's mandate. And one of it is what has been exposed today. We said it time and again that the seat of Pandai was the seat for the NDC. They rigged the election, and we've been saying it time and again that we will continue to expose crooked electoral officers who will continue to rig election. We will stop them. We will make sure that the NDC will prevent such rigging machinery of the then MPP and their crooked collaborators in the Electoral Commission. Clearly, the CI 127, if you look at Regulation 43, 1A up to H, spell out how collation of parliamentary election is done. You collect results based on two forms. We have Form 1C and then Form 1D. You assemble the results in the Form 1C and then put the summaries on Form 1D and declare the results. This was not done. They didn't do that. They just organized themselves, ran to Tamale, cooked some results, and announced Nyindam as a parliamentary candidate elect. This is what they did. And that is why we made sure that we follow through the process. The NDC is the most lawful political party in Ghana. We didn't use lawless means to get this verdict. We made sure that we follow through the process, and we have gotten favorable judgment. I can assure you, we are appealing to our opponents, the MPP. They shouldn't come for the by-election, because we will hand them some heavy defeat. If they if they still want to have some kind of respect to the good people of Ghana, they should chicken out how they chicken out in Tamale Central. Otherwise, our election machinery, you can see my regional minister is here, my presidential staffer, my candidate is here. We are going home. I'm sending the verdict back to National Secretariat. We are going to prepare. They've given us 30 days. We are ready. Even tomorrow, we are ready for it. We are going to make sure that the seat will return to NDC within 30 days. We are happy. We are grateful to Pandal people for their patience. We assure them that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will continue to do the goodies for them. We'll continue to do whatever we are doing and to make sure that proper representation of NDC is done in the Pandal constituency. We are grateful.
Well, so that's how all of this played out in court earlier today. And let's stay a bit further on this. It's a development that we're focusing on and keeping our lenses on quite closely. But the member of parliament in question, who today the court is essentially saying, well, don't hold yourself up as a member of parliament. He says he is still the MP for the Pandai constituency. He posted this on social media earlier today after the court ruling. Take a look at this. This is what he said, what he put out on social media. Dear good people of Pandai, don't shiver. Don't be perturbed. Don't waver. We are a formidable team and nothing can break us. We will surely exhaust all the legal means. Matthew Nyindam, the Pandai MP, earlier today, he put this out. Now, Justice Abdullahi is private legal practitioner. He's a lecturer at the UPSA Law Faculty. He's joining us. Good evening, Counsel. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. First off, I want to find out from you, and we had to play the positions as espoused by the two lawyers for both parties so as to establish a few things. If you listen to the lawyer for the member of parliament, it says, in fact, he described this as a frivolous application, but essentially the courts entertained it because if there are issues in 41 polling stations, why extend it to affect the entire constituency results? You heard the NDC as well make that clear and strong argument. I mean, how did all of this strike you, especially because of the outcome of this particular case today?
I mean, to be sincere, I was taken aback when the judgment was delivered because I thought we had moved away from the era where elections petitions could take forever to be decided on. So, in fairness, I didn't even know there was lingering election petitions still ongoing in Ghana. And that's because I always draw my inspiration from the George Amo case. I think that was somewhere in the year 2000 or thereabout, where George Amo, who was elected MP for Ayawaso West Wuogon, never stepped in parliament because he spent the entire 4 years trying to vindicate the point that he had won the election. Eventually, when the court decided that indeed he had won the election, the tenure had expired, and the wrong member of parliament had lived the entire period in parliament, participating in parliamentary activities, contributing, whether lawfully or unlawfully, to our constitutional democracy, and enjoying all the perks that are associated with the office of member of parliament. And the victor of the election never stepped a foot in the House of Parliament. That is how sad events were, and unfortunate the kind of era we are accustomed to. So largely, if you ask me, I expected that within 3 months after elections, we should be done with everything involving election petitions, whether by way of a parliamentary or presidential.
Well, it's been 11 months now, as we're seeing. But then again, the NDC was quite clear in the position, which appears to have been the position that the court held in this judgment that has been delivered, that it is indeed the case that the coalition in these 41 polling stations did not follow due process, as the outcome has been now espoused or pronounced earlier today. Now, let's go beyond what the MPP and the NDC or the lawyers for both parties have been saying and look at the evidential issues based on what has been reported and has been said by the two lawyers. Where does the pendulum swing for you?
The danger with assessing evidence that you were not part and parcel of, even where you were, remember there were two sides. Everybody takes the view from angle, is that you are likely to put yourself in the shoes of the adjudicating judge and the power you do not have, and the benefit of which you also not have, because as lawyers will tell you, sometimes evidence come in different forms of shapes. Sometimes even the demeanor of the people giving the evidence could influence the judge in the outcome of the decision that he's making. So most of the time, reading the text of evidence does not really yield to the overall impressions that you may have of the issues, and that is because witnessing a person giving their testimony and knowing his demeanor and reactions and all of that sometimes could completely go contrary to the very things that the person is saying, and so it is difficult to put yourself in the shoes of an adjudicating judge who sits on the matter and witness all these events as they unfold. However, having said that, I think that when people make the argument that whether 47 or 35, and so the judge should have probably limited himself to the 47 and delivered his verdict in relation to the 47, and possibly order for a rerun of those 47, if you like, positions or otherwise. I think that is not left to any of the parties to determine, because the judge has a raw picture of the event, and this time I'm deferring to the judge out of fairness, because when a person has a complete control of the matter, he understands better if you ask the question, would those 47 polling stations or pink sheets be enough to set aside the entire elections as run originally? If the answer is yes, I would consistently go for what the judge is saying. However, if it is not enough to completely uproot the remaining polling stations, assuming there were 1,000, the remaining polling station of 9,504 or 40 thereabout, if it may not be fair to say that those areas that were properly run should be also set aside and be rerun. So my point is that for a judge to make that kind of decision, he must have a basis in law, and of course supported by the evidence that was adduced at trial, to say that perhaps there were more wrongs. Those wrongs put together would only lead to one irresistible conclusion, and that conclusion is to completely rerun the entire election rather than running the 47 or thereabout that were contested. And on the basis of this, I would like to defer to the judge as having it right on this call. But the good part is that we have an appellate court, and that appellate court, luckily for us, the loser of the petition has filed an appeal.
Yes.
And luckily for us, that will be the end of the trial and then the hearing once the evaluation of the appellate court comes out and their decision comes out. And so, three wise men would have a better grasp of the issues, and upon their review, I think we'd all be better off making an informed analysis from that point as against what we have today.
You're right in referencing what they have decided to do. I'm talking about the embattled member of parliament and his legal team. They say they're not surprised about this outcome. They've accepted the decision. They respect it, but they disagree. They filed the notice of appeal and then also the motion of the stay of execution. But then again, would you say it's too early to celebrate? Because we saw the NDC supporters behind Rashid Tanko Computer already in the mode of jubilation. Do you think that's too early?
I've consistently been saying since morning that those jubilating may have to hold on to their horses because, first off, assuming there was no appeal even filed, and the loser decides, or the MPP member of parliament decides to frustrate the execution processes of the judgment, that could take us the next 6 months for us to have a next member of parliament as against the one presently in office. Because there are a number of rooms that he's allowed to explore, options that he's allowed to explore. And those rooms and the opportunities, if he decides to trigger all of it, particularly now that he has been filed an appeal, it could take a very long time. If you're not lucky, it could take us another year or thereabout, depending on how these issues play out. Remember, the 30 days that the court has ordered to be relied on for the purposes of the runoff, or however you want to call it, would never happen. That I can guarantee you. It will never see the light of day because of the circumstances. Once this person has filed an appeal, naturally he would follow up with either an application for stay of execution or an application for injunction of one of the two. Well, most likely he'll follow up with a stay of execution. And the stay of execution alone will take about a month, if not more, for it to be decided. And he has a right of repeat application at the Court of Appeal. Now, that right, if he decides to exercise it in addition, that could take, once again, give and take another 1 month or 3 weeks to a month. Now, that would take us into January, because remember, from the third week of December all the way to the second week of January, court is not sitting. And so we are likely to be hitting the tail end of January. And before you say, Jack, we are already, and there will be no new member of parliament. That's not what we wish for, as I've indicated earlier, because I would want that matters be settled quickly so that we have a consistent member of parliament who will contribute, having the peace of mind and the joy that he's helping build a better country for all of us, rather than having a member of parliament who will consistently be shuffling between the court and the House of Parliament.
Yes.
We will never have the best of that person. And
Right.
so it is my wish, it is my expectation that we take these decisions faster so that Managana becomes the ultimate beneficiary.
Obviously, that robs the people of Kwandai of representation, and that's another area to look at as well. I thank you so much, Justice Abdullahi. He's a private legal practitioner. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. But this is the constituency, this is the results that is been contested. As a matter of fact, this is 41 polling station results out of 152. This Kwandai constituency has 152 polling stations. What is being contested as having some alleged infractions during the coalition process is a 41 polling station results out of 152. And this is the full picture as of the end of election 2024. Matthew Nyendam, 27,647 of the valid votes. That's where, on the basis of that, he was the declared member of parliament elect, 53.2%, as against Daniel Nsala Wakpal of the NDC, 24,213. So if you look at the difference between the two, it's just about 3,433 votes. 3,434 of the difference between them. Now, if you look at the number of these registered voters, valid voters, in these 41 polling stations, which results is being contested, that's what Justice Abdullahi referenced. It's enough to change the picture of this result, as we are seeing. Now, we'll see how things play out in the coming days, especially because of the decision that the Member of Parliament and his lawyers have taken to contest the outcome of this. But this is how the picture looked like as of the end of the elections last year. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, the special prosecutor, Kissie Jabeng, is under fire over what critics describe as inaction. And he now faces a public protest scheduled for tomorrow. Now, we hear from the convener and a few other persons as well will align with this particular issue. There's a planned demonstration against the special prosecutor, Kissie Jabeng, scheduled for tomorrow, Tuesday, November 25. The protest is dubbed Agroniform protest. That's essentially that. Really, the job is on the ground, essentially. And now they're making the point that to the extent that high-profile corruption cases have not seen any meaningful progress, they're asking questions of the special prosecutor. Let's hear from the convener, Apostle Abraham Labi Lincoln. Earlier today, he spoke to the news team.
The theme for this demo is Agroniform. We are marching. We are wearing our red, black. I beg me, I wear my gown like this, and I will go. This guy, yes, I wear the same gown, and I will go and present my case. And if he doesn't listen and doesn't take it, then we know the sort of president he is. Let us march. We are marching straight to Jubilee House. Then we petition the president. President, Kissie, we don't hate him. We don't have a problem with all that play. Either it will be dissolved and reformed, or sack all of them. Kissie need to be prosecuted. He even said need to be investigated.
Well, so that's the convener for this demonstration tomorrow, but that's just one of the issues. Another issue that played out earlier today is a post that Manasseh Azere Awoni, he is an investigative journalist, put on his Facebook, which has attracted some responses from the special prosecutor as well. And I'm just going to run through it briefly. We'll look at what the special prosecutor's office responded to Manasseh's post. And Manasseh is going to be joining us in a bit. But this is what Manasseh put earlier. It's just a summary of it. It's quite a long one. It says, the OSP has not put Ken Ofori-Atta and Ernest Akore on stop list. Ernest Akore is one of the persons in this SML case who's been prosecuted. Now, it goes on to say, under the previous administration, the OSP did not request a stop order for either of the two men. That's number one. Two, the OSP admits it avoided doing so because it did not trust the security institutions to cooperate. You recall that when Kissie Jabeng spoke to KSM in that interview, he did reference what Manasseh is captured in his post. Manasseh goes on to say that under the current administration, despite claiming improved cooperation, the OSP still has not requested a stop order. Immigration sources confirm no stop order exists for either Ken Ofori-Atta or Ernest Akore. What that essentially means is that they can come in and go out without anybody stopping them. And that's what Manasseh is raising concerns about. Well, this particular position got a response from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. That is Sami Dakun, who is the Director of Strategy and Communications of the OSP. He says the Special Prosecutor never said he wrote to the security chiefs at the time to stop Ken Ofori-Atta. He said it was pointless because his cousin, the president, had already cleared him to travel. And he had also written to the incoming chief of staff stating that anytime he was needed, they should invite him and he would return. This is it. That anytime he was needed and he's invited, Ken Ofori-Atta said he would return. That's the assurance he gave to the incoming or the now chief of staff, Julius Zebra. As to whether this assurance has been fulfilled is another matter. In any case, he says the heads of institutions at the time had refused to cooperate with the OSP on several occasions. Your argument, Manasseh, about the travel stop list is immaterial. This matter involves an extradition process, which is fundamentally different from the routine stop-list mechanism. We are working to bring them back. You are speaking as though the issue is about preventing them from leaving. Trust the OSP when it says that Ken Ofori-Atta and Ernest Akore will not be able to sneak into Ghana under any circumstance. They are under constant watch, and if they attempt to re-entry, law enforcement will intercept them. It is the OSP's investigations that established Ken Ofori-Atta as the key actor in the SML matter and identified Ernest Akore as his facilitator. In fact, Akore's role was uncovered much later. At the time he traveled, he was not even a person of interest. Now, there's a bit more into this, but I just want to stay the steam on this particular point, right? That the OSP makes, that Manasseh Azure-Awuni, this matter is different from what he put out. Manasseh is joining us on Zoom right now. Manasseh, good evening.
Good evening, Alfred.
Thank you for connecting with us. Now, I start off from this point that the Special Prosecutor's Office makes to your post earlier today. They say that your argument about the travel stop list is immaterial because the matter involves an extradition process which is fundamentally different from the routine stop list that you are asking for. Manasseh.
Well, I'm not asking for it. There have been debates ongoing, and the debate has been that some security chiefs in the past administration did not cooperate with the OSP. And this conversation arose because some people said he watched Ken Ofori-Atta leave the country. And so my point was to find out from these people, if someone is saying you did not cooperate and they were helpless, what was the situation at the time? Did the person approach you and request your help in this matter? And they said no. And I just wanted to find out, even if now the person or these people are on the stop list. And I was surprised to learn that they are still not there. When I spoke to the OSP, I spoke to the Special Prosecutor himself. He said that, look, there are mechanisms to pick them up. They wouldn't even get to the immigration desk, something I also put there in the write-up. But the security chiefs said that if someone is on a stop list, they don't only concern themselves with the airport. We have the seaport and the land borders across. So if there is no formal communication to put someone on the stop list, then the person going through the system may not be apprehended, because if you don't have the orders to stop somebody from traveling or getting in, you cannot do that. So these are the facts that I've put out there. And some of the comments they have made to the effect that their investigation established Ken Ofori-Atta as a key whatever. I think that was said in the documentary in 2023.
Well, but that's what Hamid Ako is saying, that in this statement in response to you, he says it is their investigation, the OSP's investigation, that uncovered Ken Ofori-Atta as the key architect in this entire SML thing. You disagree?
Well, anybody who cares to revisit our documentary would see Ken Ofori-Atta in even the promo of that documentary. The online stories, the very first online story, it is still online, published in December 2023. The title is, the headline, "The 3 billion cedi lie. Government pays hundreds of millions to a company in a shady deal." The first photograph there is Ken Ofori-Atta, and then you have Christian Soti, who is the managing director of SML. So at every material point, we mention this. Ernest Akore was also mentioned. And if Ghanaians care to know, the OSP has confessed that at the time Ernest Akore was leaving the country, that was almost the end of 2024, the Office of the Special Prosecutor did not know that he was a person of interest. That is right. I agree with them. And that is because as of 2024 November, the Office of the Special Prosecutor of the Republic of Ghana had not started the SML investigation. And I'm saying this on authority. Tomorrow I'll provide the evidence.
I see. Now, that leads me to this part of the statement. Because, and if that also surprises you, we'll get into it, that Ken Ofori-Atta had, as at the time, written to the incoming chief of staff, that's Julius Deborah, stating that anytime he was needed, they should invite him and he will return. I mean, is it the case that, from what you do know, this invitation has not been extended to him, that's why he hasn't returned? Because there was an assurance specifically in the communication between him and Julius Deborah.
If the OSP acted on this trust, I don't fault them. But when you say this and then you go on to make a point that seems to suggest that a person left because you didn't have the cooperation from others to stop him, then the two statements are not very, they are not aligned. So is the OSP telling us that action was not taken because they believed the man would return, or action was not taken because people, security heads, did not cooperate to stop him? So I think we should be very clear. All these things I'm putting out there is to help us put the debate in perspective. I have been supportive of the OSP. I support the bringing in of Ken Ofori-Atta because he has presided over our resources, and if he has misused them, as is the case in these investigations and others that he's accused of, then he should come back and respond to. So I'm all for this, but we have to build an institution that would be accountable to all of us. We have to build an institution that takes responsibility. President Akufo-Addo did well by setting up the office. He had his own problems, but Martin Amidu's appointment showed that at least he was very committed to making that office work. Akufo-Addo is no longer in office. I don't want people to, for lack of a better word, sleep on the job and begin to cast insinuations that, oh, the cousin was the president, so we couldn't do much. Are we saying that tomorrow someone can look back and say, well, there was this scandal, we couldn't do much because Mahama was president and his brother was involved, or his relative or his friend was involved? No. Akufo-Addo was president when journalists such as us did this story and exposed Ken Ofori-Atta and his role in this. So my point is, let us look at the issues. If you are arguing that at the time the person was leaving, everything showed that he was coming back and you didn't have any reason to stop him, it could be a fair argument. If you are also saying that you could not stop him because the security people, the heads of the immigration, the NIB and national security did not support you, then we will be asking, did you reach out to them? The question is no. Why didn't you reach out? Well, I knew that they would not cooperate with me. That's why I didn't reach out. And that's the argument I've been having with Mr. Kisia Jabin. If you reach out to them and they did not support you, then you would have a case. But you can't just assume that they wouldn't support you, you don't reach out, and then you blame them. So these are some of the facts I'm trying to put out there so that when we are having this discussion, everybody knows that the people were not reached out to. They were not written to stop.
Manasseh, on that bit about what he said regarding the other security agencies and the lack of cooperation, he said during the previous administration, this is a response to you, it was the heads of the certain institutions who were accused of non-cooperation, not the institutions themselves. So those individuals are no longer in office. But Kisi actually never said that in the video. Is that interview?
He did not say what?
This particular quote that Samit Akom. put out in
Yes,
response
yes,
to
yes.
you?
I didn't hear that.
Yes.
What I heard was that the security services were not cooperating, only the Ghana Police Service.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's what I heard. But how can you say that the heads were not cooperating, but the institutions themselves would have cooperated? I think the institutions are not the buildings; it's the people and the management that run them. But the point I'm just trying to make is that these are facts that I want to put out there, so that when we are having this debate, we now know that the special prosecutor did not write to them, and he has his reasons. In the current administration that the office says they are cooperating, they have not been written to put Ken on a stop list. He has his reason. So that if any of the suspects or the accused sneak in and out, we know who to place the blame on. And as journalists, it is part of our responsibility to put these facts out there to get the public to know who did what, who did not do what, so that they make up their minds.
Part of the statement that Samit Aku put out earlier, contesting the figures involved in this entire, SML matter. He says that the perpetrators intended to grant SML about $100 million over 5 years. That's what you stated, your petition stated. However, the OSP's investigation revealed that the actual intended amount exceeded $2.7 billion. So they've done quite some work, more than you, Manasseh.
Alfred, I'm not contesting that they did more work than us. I am on record to have commended the OSP on the investigation they have done. The OSP has the power to arrest people, to break into servers and search, to compel people to bring documents. We didn't have all of that. So I'm not here to contest who did what work and who did what. But I'm just telling you that if you ever get Samit Aku or Mr. Kisia Jabin himself, these two figures they have mentioned, it is not true that we said 100 million dollars for the period of the contract. Our investigation said that the company was entitled to over $100 million every year for a period of 5 years. And if you look at the KPMG report, they said 5-point-something billion cedis, which is in line with ours. The petition we wrote to, we never said $100 million in the entirety of the contract. And they cannot produce this. And two, challenge the office of the special prosecutor to give you the basis for which the 2.7 billion cedis is mentioned, dollars is mentioned as how much they were going to pay SML. That is false, Alfred. That is false.
I see.
They cannot provide you evidence to show that the contract sum over the period of 5 years was $2.7 billion. At most, we're looking at about $110 million per year. So if you look at the 5 years, you are looking at $550 million as the contract sum.
I see.
It is not up to $1 billion. It's not up to $2 billion. It's not up to $2.7 billion. And don't take my word for it. Just ask the special prosecutor and whoever is listening. They should just publish where they got that figure from. I think it is a way of figure to also bloat out their impact.
Right.
And in the coming days, don't take my word for it. Don't take Manasseh's word for it. Let us challenge the special prosecutor to present a document
that details the $2.7 billion.
Yes, any document that said that the contract sum was $2.7 billion, that we're going to pay $2.7 billion to the SML. If you look at the contract, the fees are stated. It says $0.75 per barrel of the oil production sector, that's the upstream. And if you make the calculation based on how much we produce, you can get a figure. And the gold mining sector is 0.75% of total production, and it is there. So I don't see how somebody will go and take a figure. I'm told they are using a certain PPA letter.
I see.
And I have a different PPA letter from this
that details a different figure.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know where they are coming from. They can publish it.
Right.
It is not about whether Manasseh did a better job or what. It's for the interest of the state. But I challenge them to publish the contract and tell us where in that contract $2.7 billion is mentioned. They cannot produce that.
I see. And it's a direct challenge you put to them. Thank you for this. Martin Kpebu is also joining us. He's a private legal practitioner. And yesterday, there was an X-Space conversation that Sammy Darko was on again. And he did indicate, like Martin Kpebu, that you were invited on Friday, last Friday, and you failed to show up, or you were invited to appear before the OSPO, and you failed to show up on Friday. How come? What happened?
So, what I can say is that I did not receive the invitation on time. At the time I saw the invitation, it was way too late. That was yesterday night. And how did I even see it? It's because yesterday night, my attention was drawn to a media engagement he did, where he alleged that I had been called 15 times and I didn't pick up. Then later I heard he said I picked up, but I was in a meeting on Thursday. Yes, so the one about I picked up, I was in a meeting sounds more credible, because if I'm in a meeting, you know, sometimes you can whisper in an undertone manner to the person calling that I'm in a meeting, maybe call back 20 minutes or whatever. Yes, but that apart, I didn't see the invitation. It was yesterday night I saw the text message. So I was like, that if the office, that's the OSP, considered the invitation very urgent, Sammy Darko has my number. Sammy Darko and I exchanged WhatsApp and calls. He could have called me. And if I saw Sammy Darko's call, okay, I would have called back if I couldn't pick up the first time. And he could have sent WhatsApp. And I even further add that if you look at the response time, most of the time between Sammy Darko and I, within 1.5 hours, we would have responded to each other's WhatsApp messages. So once the officer made an attempt, didn't get me, the most prudent thing to do is to ask in the office space, oh, who knows Martin Kpebu? Who is the, what do you call it? Nearest person who is closest to him or knows him, so that if he saw a message from the person, he could, Martin Kpebu would definitely pick up. Besides, look, my office is literally about 10 minutes, just literally, okay, not figuratively. It's quite close. If you look at where my office is to the OSP, it's even a walking distance. I'm telling you that my office to the OSP is a walking distance. They are not serious at all. If they were, they know my office. The invitation to come on Monday, the officer delivered it to my office. So if you called me and you didn't get me, this 10-minute driving time, 10 minutes around the cathedral, he doesn't know. And look at from the Adabraka Cathedral to the scholars where the office is situated. And some will even tell you that's a 5-minute drive. This is just a ruse. They did that to give me bad press. What they should concentrate their efforts on is the 15 petitions that have been served for the removal of Kistie Ejabin. 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that tells you the rot, what is going on in the office. That's how come you can have 15 petitions for his removal. That is where the focus should be. And the incompetence in allowing Ofori-Atta to flee the jurisdiction.
I see. Martin Kpebu, thank you. But stay with me, because I'm going to go for this quick break. When we're back, I'll find out whether you are being investigated, because that's another issue as well that's come up. And respected private legal practitioner Thaddeus Sori has also been talking about your invitation by the special prosecutor and what's happening right now. So stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. Martin Kpebu, private legal practitioner, is still with us. Lawyer, thank you for the patience. Now, let's establish this. Are you being investigated for some statement you made, allegations of corruption against the person of the special prosecutor and the office of the special prosecutor?
Not being investigated at all. You see, I read a part of the letter, and now we have to do that in terms of reading the part of the letter, because the OSP is up to mischief. So I have to also, read out details. After all, I've not displayed the letter, but I read portions of it. So I don't know why I ran away. When the letter is very clear that there are no criminal or civil liabilities against me, nobody is investigating me. Let me read the instructive part of the letter. It says, the purpose of your appearance remains to assist the office with information and clarification necessary to establish the relevant facts. When they say relevant facts, the allegations are made against them. You know, the incompetence allowing Ofori-Atta to travel out of Ghana and Kissi Ejabi failing to blow the whistle, the corruption charges, etc. Your cooperation, Mr. Okanse, please, this is of very critical importance. Your cooperation will not of itself be treated as evidence of wrongdoing. You see? So there is no liability attaching to me for cooperating. So why would I run away? I'm a citizen. And don't forget, I used to support Kissi Ejabi. You hear me supporting Kissi Ejabi, even when people were warning me that, hey, Martin, don't support Kissi Ejabi, you can't trust him. But I said, look, I don't have any facts to doubt him, to distrust him.
I see.
But now, he's...
Thank you very much for this. And in fact, well, there are other persons who are speaking about what you are having to go through, talking about the special prosecutor invitation, and now you're disputing that position that you're being investigated. Thaddeus Sorry, a respected private legal practitioner, has also been talking about you, Lawyer Martin Kpebu, what you're having to face with the special prosecutor. And this is what he had to say.
You are coming to tell us that he's a fugitive. For what? Why is he not? And in those days, I said he could be charged in absentia. Why is he now doing it in absentia? Ofori-Atta has still not come. Why is he doing it in absentia? He didn't know at that time he could do it. So I criticized him because of some of these things. It's a little ambivalent and not too straightforward. So Ghanaians are waiting to see how this OSP from 2014 to 2015, when they said there shall be an OSP who will make sure that all of this is dead. And we are seeing nothing. We are only seeing talk. And talk which doesn't add up, talk which is only annoying. So I told him at that time he should shut up and do his work. That was exactly what I told him. If we see your work, you don't need to come and tell us. The people themselves will speak for itself, basically. Oh, yes. So don't harass Martin Kpebu or
Oh, that's Thaddeus Sorry, the respected private legal practitioner. And he was in that conversation as well with KSM, Kweku Ntim-Mensah, on his program. Yeah, that's the same platform that the Special Prosecutor also granted that interview, by the way. But before we go, the Securities and Exchange Commission has put out a notice that you should be wary of these investment so-called schemes that are advertising on television stations on the terrestrial TV platform. Advice TV, they say there's a fraudulent scheme named Echo Cash. That's advertising on Advice TV. You should beware. Adwempa TV also has RBC Royal Bank investment scheme. Beware. Achedia TV has Nana Bodom. Asomafo TV, Echo Cash. Asumdwe TV has Echo Cash advertising there. Don't put your money there. That's what Securities and Exchange Commission is saying. KTV, Echo Cash, Kuma Plus TV, US Bank Online. There's Mejefo TV, Nana Bodom, and there's in Kabom TV as well. They say you should be aware of that. Benedict TV, Echo Cash, Best TV has something they call AeroPay, and Instant Money, iMoney, Wave Money, and then US Bank Online, Starboy TV. They say you should be aware of that. Then there is Eagle TV, World Remerit. Don't put your money there. Elephant TV, Nana Bodom. There's Funny TV, Echo Cash. There's Golden TV. That's what really cracked all us up at some point. There's Nogopo. The fraudulent investment scheme you should be wary of is Nogopo investment scheme. They are advertising on Golden TV. Don't put your money in this Nogopo investment scheme. Success, beware. There's quite a number of them as well, you see in there. You can find the full details of this Securities and Exchange Commission statement on our page, just 3news.com, and then also TV3 Ghana on Facebook. On behalf of the team, we do appreciate your company. Join us same time tomorrow for another conversation. I'm Alfred Okansi. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by